Hey guys, it's Dreamer here, and today we are back with some more Buried. So, we've gone through 2 chapters already. I'm super excited to go through the 3rd. I have no idea what's gonna happen. But I really hope you guys are enjoying this. And yeah, I'm gonna get reading now. Alright, off to chapter 3 we go. What do we have before us? We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on Some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some permanent bits of information. "Where's the first aid kit?" I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he had forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. "Oh yeah," he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There, he hunkers down by an opened panel in the wall. What I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. Look at the computer monitors or peer into the open vault. It's just going to be a bunch of data and coding that we're not going to understand on the computers, so let's look in the vault. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's opened, which, it's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. From the split second it's open, I can see a scanned document and a colored photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body, as if it has been turned inside out. Ew, gross. There's also massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet-colored fluid that, while rather pretty in color, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. "Come on," I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first kit over to him and go scramble to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulder as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grince. "This might hurt a little," I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Okay. Either way, it's gonna hurt like hell, but I think we're gonna go with the Band-Aid method, which, if you don't know, is rip it off quickly, and the pain will be gone faster. It'll be a lot of pain at once for a short time, rather than consistent small bits of pain that are very annoying. So we're gonna go ahead and rip the shirt off quickly. You decide to rip off Dennis's shirt quickly, figuring the old "see, I told you, rip off the Band-Aid" metaphor applies here. I tear the shirt off of him. I tear the shirt off of him quickly. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. "What the hell, man?" "Sorry," I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for a moment. Wincing in pain, he leans back against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus hopefully and ask, You have any training? 0, he says. Sorry. It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be of much help anyway. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure. But I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says hopefully. How bad does it look? You think I'll live? Well, we've already admitted to ourselves that it's a really bad wound. But I don't think that panicking him by telling him is a good idea. I feel like, while it is dishonest, I feel like it would be in our best interest to tell him he's gonna be fine. I mean, that's what I would do. I know it's wrong, but yeah, no, we gotta tell him he's gonna be okay. I don't want him freaking out. You choose to comfort Dennis. Good to know, he says, because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks, that's a relief. I won't lie. You're going to have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finished up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape, and then I reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. Finally, I patch up the bruises on his head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. Oh, on my head, my bad. I look back at Marcus, and he is looking back at us, deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easy. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility? I asked him. If there's something better, I don't know where it is, he says. I don't know about it. Yeah, my bad. I don't know about it. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something's different now. Just a slight change in his demeanor. He's seen something on the monitors that has him frightened. More than he already was before. What is it? I ask him. What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room. It's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. Come on, spit it out, or get up and look at the monitors. Let's see if he's honest with us. Just what the hell is going on here? I ask, not even really sure I want to know the answer. His defiant gaze tells me that he's not going to be any help, so I decide to look around for myself. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of the black screen says, "Safety locks on, level 3 containment doors engaged." Override? I see still screens of a few others. Yeah, I see still screens. I can read. I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway where we were just on a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What's wrong with the system, or what happened to that person there? Oh god, I don't want to imagine what that looks like. Well, they've definitely released some kind of creature or something. I still don't know what the hell they were doing, but there's gotta be some kind of, you keep seeing things about foreign entities, so something's gotten loose. Something is out there. The question is what? I think we're gonna go with, let's ask about the person. I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell? I ask. There's still something there's something still happening? Are we in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold, and my fears spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in... Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts. Momentarily pushing aside the fear, for a moment, I consider just tearing into him. A few punches and a shove against the wall. Nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. But I'm not sure which would provide more answers. Asking calmly, or kicking his ass. We've been calm up to this point, and I still firmly believe in the whole, if we be calm with him, he's less likely to have somebody bite our heads off in the future. I'm not certain that we'll get answers by asking calmly, but at the same time, I don't think we'll get answers asking aggressively either. I feel like we're just going to stick with what we've been doing, and we're going to ask him calmly. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me, and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It's part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched over since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground, less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber track you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene to keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. I just track bodies and names. So where the hell is my crew? Ask calmly. Stay calm. We can do this. Stay calm. So since you have all the surveillance, do you know where the rest of my crew is? I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you were on the site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked, though. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. He says this casually, like it's not that important. Well, are they inside the facility? I ask. You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it is possible. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Stay calm. I feel like we're eventually gonna end up blowing up on him, but we're gonna stay calm. Just stay calm. What do all of these people do here? I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything, probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than Black Ops. What does that mean? I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? Not at all. But I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure, and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here on the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. Hey boss, Dennis says, his voice flat and toneless. He stands up and is now looking blankly at one of the monitors. My eyes follow his, and when I see what's on the monitor, my heart pounds in my chest. Who is that? He asks, indicating the portion of a leg sticking out from the oversized dozer. Oh shit. Ah, crap. Guilt slams into me like a bullet between the eyes. In my panic and fear, I'd avoided ever trying to pull him out. More than that, I still haven't told Dennis. Holy shit, he says, looking closer. It's Tony. He's dead. Dennis looks like he's been punched in the stomach. He looks at me, unbelieving. Did you know? Dennis demands. I don't want to tell the big scary guy that we lied to him, but at the same time I don't want to lie to him. Screw it, let's tell him no. Bullshit, he snaps. When you walked up to me in the woods, you came from the Dozer area. You had to have seen him. I wasn't over there, I start. Dennis cuts me off, not buying it. You knew Tony was dead this whole time and didn't tell me this whole time? Well, that was obviously a mistake. He stands up and lunges at me, but is too weak. I take a step back, avoiding his advance. What good would it have done, I ask. You'd still be hurt, and we'd still be here anyway. I didn't want to add more to your plate. Exactly, that's exactly what I said. I don't think that's exactly the words I used, but it's basically the same thing. Anyway, he only glares at me, and I think I see some sort of dull understanding in his eyes. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. A shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this. So I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says, but I can't help but feel this is a bad moment to leave Dennis. As I turn to tell him I'm heading out with Marcus, he's not even looking at me. It's clear that he's still pissed that I kept him in the dark about Tony. Sorry, I should have told you. Look, I didn't know what else to do. Yeah, I'll go with that. I didn't know what else to do. Whatever, boss, he says curtly, turning his head to look away from me. Whatever. I want to talk about it and explain my reasoning, but there isn't any time. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back at Dennis, I run out into the second level hallway.